My name is Stacey Yvonne, and I am with Awards Buzz. Ladies, we got to talk about this movie. Made me look at food in a different way, but mostly, especially when it comes from semi-haunted mansions in upstate rural areas. Um, there's something so kind of there's a lot of magical realism, but there are also a lot of parallels that have to do with feminism and female empowerment and the way that women are treated, but also the way that we are expected to kind of show up, especially in professional settings, especially in quote unquote male dominated professional settings. Tell me a little bit about how you two came up with this idea, and specifically with the idea of making it about a female chef trying to dominate the professional world, being more than just like a cook, but being like a chef of haute cuisine.
Thank you for your amazing analysis of the film. It's great to hear that you took that meaning from it. Because that's what we're going for. These are the themes we're exploring, and I think the origin of this, we had our own experiences in restaurants. It was a world we always loved, and then when we were trying to make a movie about a person finding their voice, finding their power, when Krudy just said, "What if it's a chef?" Then the whole kind of concept sort of tumbled together, of this hero's journey of just trying to, learn to trust yourself and learn to go off on your own, but do it in your most authentic way to your own intuition, to your own self, while battling the, haunting parallels of self-doubt, the
Mhm.
psychosis that is in us all, right? So basically, that is sort of how the journey transpired, of a chef in a haunted house.
Well, it is self-doubt, but then it's self-doubt on top of just kind of the barriers of sexism. And we see that a lot when we're dealing with like Lucia with Barbie Ferrer's character, where she's like, I try to put myself into these spaces, but she's automatically painted with this brush of you slept your way here. And, it brings up that idea of you can sleep your way to the top, but then we don't challenge the idea that there has been a system in which the only way that a woman can succeed is by quote unquote sleeping her way to the top. It's that thing. I loved that with Chef, we we get this idea that she gets so close to kind of learning the lesson, because I feel like her journey throughout this is kind of learning the lesson almost to be a girl's girl in a way, to kind of be a little more accommodating to the struggle that she's had to go through, and to kind of extend that grace to other women in her field. And it seems as though she started as, I did this, I did the work, I got where I wanted to be because of my hard work, and everyone else should have to do that hard work as well, instead of trying to pave the way for others. And then we see her kind of soften on that, but then we kind of see these little setbacks. Tell me about that in terms of crafting her character, in terms of her relationships with the other women. Was that a part of her journey? Am I inferring that? Is that something I'm making up? Or was that something that you wanted to show as part of her journey in terms of her relationship with women?
Yes, Stacey, thank you. It's really well observed. And Chef sort of crafting this arc began with a lot of permission. Letting
Mhm.
someone who was like instantly very beloved to Bridget and I for like her spirit, but also letting her kind of let the ugly parts out, on certain occasions. These parts that you may have absorbed over the years that she actually, she can account for, and then the movie is a process of shedding that and ultimately like finding some healing for that. And so it just started with like being like, okay, we love this character, but we gotta let her be ugly to people, especially to Barbie's character, Lucia. And we need it to come out, and like it's gotta come through the back door, and maybe she doesn't even know it at the beginning. This is a character who's so far back on her journey that her self-awareness is like something she steps into over the course of the movie. And that is okay too. You don't have to start, somewhere where we want to see the biggest arc possible for this character. So it felt like a full transformation.
And it's not just her, that ugliness is from the world she came from. And
Mhm.
she's learned some really bad lessons, and she's had some really bad examples of how to lead with a ball busting, tough way. And she's had to prove herself in those environments, and thinking about the level of armor and toughness that you have to build up to that. To have that, you have to that's we used to, one of the themes we talked about is prove yourself versus lose yourself, different ways of creating, and so this need to prove herself is it served her for a really long time, but now it's holding her back, and it's these masculine traits actually don't have a place in the place of you have to open yourself up to intuition and authenticity and connection, so this is the journey Chef needs to go on, from internalizing a lot of bad crap to shedding it.
Yeah, and from survival, just survival in a kitchen space, in an industry, like so many industries where the rules are written for you, and then stepping into to the haunted house, to the witch's domain, where she has to survive, but like by a whole different set of rules.
And really ends up crafting her own set in a way. We absolutely love it. Ariana does a fantastic job kind of crafting that character and really bringing her, kind of resurrecting her in a way by the end of it. I think it's such a fantastic portrayal. I loved the wild and feminine menu of it all. I could talk with you both for a million minutes more, but unfortunately I'm out of time. But I want more people to see it. I cannot wait for more people to see it. It's such a wild ride. And of course, there was lots of this and lots of don't go in there, girls. So you guys have crafted a fantastic story. Thank you so much for taking time to talk with
Thank
me
you,
today.
Stacey.
Thanks, Stacey.
Take care.